Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga, a fight that nobody asked for. Fans are now starting to boycott Canelo for continuing to duck.
Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez have taken their feud to the next level, and they've gotten to a point where their entourage had to separate them from causing more damage to each other.
You know who. Also, they're going up against the UFC.
The pair met at a public event, and they picked up from where they left off at the press conference in May.
Nada, cabrón, tú no haces nada. Tú no haces nada. Yo lo escribí. Eres un pendejo, eso es lo que eres. Eres un baboso. Eres un pendejo, cabrón, porque están nomás ahí. Los que hacen todos son los que están detrás de ti. Tú eres un pendejo. Sí.
Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez have had their feud going on for a while, and if one's going to judge from what just happened, the pair will remain like this for the rest of their lives.
Canelo, I just saw another video where you're still talking shit.
The pair used to be client and clientele through the 33-year-old Mexican's boxing career, before their relationship soured and they parted ways in 2020 as Canelo quit Golden Boy Promotions, and since then, they've had a feud bubbling away under the surface. All attempts to settle the dispute between the pair have been futile, and rather than get better, it's only gotten worse. Just yesterday, Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga just got their fight for September 14th confirmed, and while preparations were ongoing, Canelo Alvarez ran into Oscar De La Hoya. And while they ran into each other, it was a worse scene that demonstrated a brawl dirtier than what happened in May.
Fans, man, we got the fight. Berlanga versus Canelo, live September 14th in Las Vegas on pay-per-view.
The brawl happened as a result of a shot Oscar De La Hoya recently fired at Canelo Alvarez on his clapback Thursday, a weekly clip he uploads on social media platforms where he trolls and fires retorts at boxers and promoters he's beefing with. The September 14th fight has been made, Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga, a fight that nobody asked for. Fans are starting to boycott Canelo Alvarez for continuing to duck you-know-who?
The September 14th fight has been made. Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga. A fight that nobody asked for. Fans are now starting to boycott Canelo for continuing to duck you-know-who. Also, they're going up against the UFC.
As the pair ran into each other, Oscar's claims forced Canelo to approach him, but their entourage were wise enough to get in between them. However, Canelo still made attempts to hit Oscar De La Hoya once De La Hoya began insulting him. During the final press conference, it instead became Oscar De La Hoya, Munguia's co-promoter and the former promoter of Alvarez, who drew Alvarez's attention in what became increasingly heated scenes.
Fulfill his dream and be world champion.
Tienen que escribirle lo que tiene que decir este pinche maricón, cabrón. Tú lo escribes, ¿qué lo escribes, pendejo? Tú no escribes nada, cabrón, tú no haces nada. Tú no haces nada. Yo lo escribí. Eres un pendejo, eso es lo que eres. Eres un baboso. Eres un pendejo, cabrón, porque están nomás ahí los...
And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Go ahead, Miguel.
All right. I'm here for you too.
Focus on your fight.
Tom Brown, the co-promoter of the fight, stood between them when the 33-year-old Alvarez moved to confront De La Hoya.
The company you fought under for decades has always had one name.
Undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez gave his challenger Jaime Munguia nothing but respect in the lead-up to their May 4th clash. But there was plenty of vitriol between the Mexican superstar and his former promoter Oscar De La Hoya at the final pre-bout press conference.
And it's mine, so put some respect on it.
De La Hoya, who accused Alvarez of attempting to get him banned from promotional events, severely altered the fight week narrative at Wednesday's press conference by unleashing a pre-written rant aimed at his former fighter.
On Saturday night, he will do just that. Fulfill his dream and be world champion.
Tienen que escribirle lo que tiene que decir este pinche maricón, cabrón.
Things got so heated on the dais that the normally mild-mannered Alvarez needed to be held back by security from attacking De La Hoya after the two aired out the dirty laundry between them. Canelo spent most of his professional career under the Golden Boy Promotions banner, transitioning from a bright young prospect to boxing's biggest attraction.
I'll make it a little bit easier for him. Yes, I have faced a lot of challenges in my life.
But after becoming a multi-weight world champion, Canelo parted ways with De La Hoya's company in 2020 and aligned himself with both Matchroom Boxing and the PBC. It was a messy split, and the subsequent years have done nothing to quell the angst between fighter and former promoter.
Yes, I've been to rehab several times. Yes.
I have nothing but respect for Canelo Alvarez as a fighter. His record and abilities speak for themselves, De La Hoya told the assembled media in Las Vegas. But he has spent much of the last 2 months insulting me rather than promoting this fight. Yes, I've faced a lot of challenges in my life. Yes, I've been to rehab several times. And yes, there were times when work was not my priority based on my mental health, which I neglected for so long.
There were some really low points in my life, and yes, there were times that work was not my priority based on my mental health, which I had neglected for so long.
But that doesn't change the fact that Golden Boy built Canelo Alvarez, period. The company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine. So put some freaking respect on it. Canelo does not take infringements lightly. When former opponent Caleb Plant got testy at a head-to-head in 2021, the Mexican star slapped Plant across the face.
As for Jaime, he has always dared to be great, just as he's this Saturday night.
Following De La Hoya's verbal attack, Canelo was openly furious. "Don't you talk to me like that," the champion said. "Don't you freaking talk to me like that." A riled-up Canelo continued to hurl insults in Spanish.
And this serves as a bit of a full circle for him.
And as De La Hoya continued, Canelo, seated to his right, began to speak off-mic toward him in Spanish. Oscar then brought up the time in 2018 when Munguia, then an unknown, tried to step in to replace Canelo against Gennady Golovkin, following Alvarez failing 2 PED tests.
Remember when Jaime was 21 years old, volunteered to step in against Triple G?
Canelo then stood and approached De La Hoya, continuing to speak. Canelo countered by accusing De La Hoya of stealing money from his fighters, and the language continued to worsen. "He tried to steal money and he's a freaking idiot," Canelo raged. "He tried to keep the attention for him, not for Munguia, freaking puppy, fool!"
And Canelo failed 2 drug tests?
How did the Canelo-De La Hoya beef start? The first sign of a break in the relationship between the American and the Mexican came in 2019 after Canelo beat Danny Jacobs, with Dazn expecting an immediate trilogy fight against Gennady Golovkin.
Obviously, aside from defaming me, why do you look inside your own circle? Because I know for a fact that people are stealing from you.
There was open disdain between De La Hoya and Canelo immediately after the Mexican's 2019 decision win over Danny Jacobs. It's understood that Dazn, via conversations with Golden Boy, expected a trilogy fight with Gennady Golovkin immediately after the Jacobs victory. However, Canelo did not do this and moved on to fight Sergey Kovalev instead. By doing so, this left Canelo angry with Golden Boy Promotions, who had told Dazn they had his signature for the GGG fight, whilst the Mexican himself denied it and refused as it wasn't a part of his contract. Both Canelo and Dazn have issues with Golden Boy. Canelo is saying, "It sounds like you made a representation to Dazn that I was going to do things that are not in my contract with you, and I'm not required to do them," a source told ESPN at the time.
You know, nice and that. You know, these are shots he wants to do another one. I surprised someone of his experiences, you know,
Dazn, on the other hand, is saying to Golden Boy, "You had represented to us, you had secured Canelo's approval and agreement to do these things, and you didn't." Ultimately, this led to a very messy split in 2020, and there has been ill feeling ever since then. It got so bad that the notorious Conor McGregor had a suggestion for how Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez could settle their differences, and of course it involves the 51-year-old former champion stepping back in the ring, albeit under a different set of rules.
There's so much bitterness in him, and he's just a troubled man. You just see it in his face and all. He's just a fucked up one. He's a donkey.
I'd love these two to go at it in the bare-knuckle fighting championship. Take off the gloves and fight, fools. Asked about the drama between his promoter and opponent on Thursday, all Munguia could do was laugh. "Not my problem," Munguia told CBS Sports. "I am chill and just very calm right now. Whatever happened between them, it's not my issue at all. I was laughing." Alvarez, however, retained a much more serious demeanor when asked whether De La Hoya's premeditated attempt at mental warfare has become a distraction at all.
¿Qué lo escribes, pendejo? Tú no escribes nada, cabrón. Tú no no haces nada. Tú no haces nada.
Yo lo escribí.
Eres un pendejo, eso es lo que eres.
Eres un baboso.
Eres un pendejo, cabrón, porque están nomás ahí los que...
I do respect every person out there, but I always say that for every action, there is a reaction. I'm a fighter, and things happen, Alvarez told CBS Sports. From Oscar, you can expect anything like that. He just throws stuff out of his mouth. He don't know anything about promoting the fighter or caring about their fighter. Golden Boy always leaves their fighters when they need him on the biggest stage. He leaves his fighters and he don't care about them. The attention is supposed to be for Munguia, but De La Hoya doesn't care. He just wants attention. But nothing surprises me from him.
que hacen todos son los que están detrás de ti. Tú eres un pendejo nomás con la imagen, idiota.
Sí.
Cabrón.
Siéntate, güey.
All right, let's have everyone.
Also, the notorious Conor McGregor had a suggestion for how Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez could settle their differences, and of course, it involves the 51-year-old former champion stepping back in the ring, albeit under a different set of rules. I'd love these two to go at it in the bare-knuckle fighting championship. Take off the gloves and fight, fools. Both Alvarez and Munguia were nothing but cordial and respectful of one another at every turn. It was only the relationship between Alvarez and his ex-promoter, Oscar De La Hoya of Golden Boy, who is the co-promoter of Munguia, that couldn't be any different, however. The fight itself might have been between Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia, but that contest took a notable backstep at the pre-fight press conference, as tensions almost spilled over when Oscar De La Hoya decided to trade insults with the boxing superstar. It was the first time Canelo and De La Hoya have worked together on the same promotion since their bitter split back in 2020, and it didn't take long before yet another war of words erupted on stage at the press conference. On June 10th, in a sensational video from Golden Boy where he lashes out at the undisputed super middleweight champion, accusing him of defamation and talking nonsense.
That is a fighter who is ready. And it's why you're going to see Ryan come out as the new face of boxing on Saturday night. Thank you.
51-year-old De La Hoya struck out online after Canelo appeared to aggravate him by suggesting he stole from him. Canelo, I've just saw a video where you're still talking stuff. All you say is, damn him, damn that. Oh, he stole from me, De La Hoya began, as per Boxing Kingdom on XCOM, formerly Twitter. Obviously, aside from defaming me, why don't you look inside your own circle? Because I know from a fact that people are stealing from you. By the way, you line my pockets and you're making me a whole load of money, all because you're afraid of David Benavidez. Damn you! De La Hoya ended the video, during which he was sat high-rise apartment building with the backdrop of Las Vegas behind him, by drinking some red wine and flipping off the camera, clearly intended for Canelo. However, even recently, Oscar De La Hoya was accused of stealing again by Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. After tweeting and trolling Ryan Garcia, Haney then turned his attention to the head of Golden Boy Promotions, saying De La Hoya is avoiding him and suggesting that he has not been compensated appropriately. Oscar Dumbhead hasn't answered the phone for weeks. Fool, I'm calling about my money, Devin Haney tweeted. Now it appears that neither of both Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia has been paid by Golden Boy Promotions or the Spanish network DAZN, leading both to call out the two promoting parties online. Still no payment, GBP and DAZN, Garcia wrote on X, formerly Twitter, whilst Haney simply said same. Nah, I need my money now, Garcia later added. Even if you don't like me, the fact I haven't received payment for my fight is messed up. It did not only come as an embarrassing news to Oscar De La Hoya, but it's given a damaging blow to the whole of Golden Boy Promotions, who undoubtedly see Ryan Garcia as their biggest signee. Golden Boy Promotions were shocked to learn Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney have accused them of failing to pay them after their fight, but they're not willing to go down quietly as Oscar De La Hoya sends the two youngsters a very strong warning. However, as the founder and CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, De La Hoya was not willing to let that slide and took to releasing a strong statement to condemn both Garcia and Haney for going public with the issue. Apparently, it's known in their contract why they haven't been paid yet, and that it was all agreed to as the company stresses it has not acted wrongly or in bad faith. As we have always done with all our fighters, Golden Boy paid Ryan and Devin exactly what they are owed under their contracts. A statement from the company read, as per Robert Little. As with all PPV events, revenue comes in over time and additional payments will be made when more money is received. If they aren't aware of this fact, we would hope that their managers are, or perhaps Ryan and Devin should pay more attention to their contracts than their social media feeds. But it's not just Canelo Alvarez and these ones that have been Oscar De La Hoya's target recently. The Golden Boy of boxing has been going about picking on as many fighters and promoters as he can, which says a lot about his kind of person. De La Hoya, a former world champion, was labeled a crazed stalker by Eddie Hearn as their feud reignited following Ryan Garcia's impressive victory over long-term rival Devin Haney. De La Hoya, 51, who has been instrumental in promoting Garcia throughout his career, was in Garcia's corner during the fight. On the other hand, Hearn was supporting WBC lightweight champion Haney as part of his ongoing efforts to make a mark on the US boxing scene. At the time, Haney seemed to be keen on a rematch with Garcia, who currently leads their rivalry 4-3, with bouts dating back to their amateur days.
He's probably the worst managed career I've ever seen in the history of boxing, Jaime Munguia. His opponent list has been awful, other than Derevyanchenko recently, who I know is your friend.
Garcia, however, was looking to move up a weight division. Before his ban, the 25-year-old was eager to challenge Sebastian Fundora or arrange a rematch to redeem his only professional career loss to Gervonta Davis. While Hearn was likely to spearhead Haney's bid for a rematch with Garcia, De La Hoya has warned the Brit to stay away from the US boxing scene. Good luck with Eddie, but there will not be a rematch, De La Hoya told Haney on social media. Good luck in your career, and good luck with Eddie, a European promoter trying to make it in the US.
The Browns Bombers, there's a reason why I promote Ryan Garcia, there's a reason why I have Verge Ortiz, there's a reason why I promote Ramirez, there's a reason why we have the best talent.
Oscar De La Hoya hit out at Hearn, calling him not a real promoter. De La Hoya fired back at Eddie Hearn, saying, Eddie, for the sake of British boxing, just stay in the UK and promote, leave the real promoters to the US market where boxing matters. You had your opportunity wasting away hundreds of millions of dollars building nothing in the US. Eddie Hearn blowing a big load of other people's money and showing nothing for it is ludicrous, De La Hoya tweeted recently. You think you can just come here and poach our fighters? Who have you built? You're a joke. Go back promoting darts. At least Leonard Ellerby and Bob Arum know what they are doing. Well, regardless of what happened between the pair, Saul Canelo Alvarez has his next fight confirmed. The Mexican superstar will defend his undisputed super middleweight championship against WBA mandatory challenger Edgar Berlanga. The bout is set to go down on September 14 from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Alvarez's promotional company announced on Thursday.
Y'all gonna eat your words. And don't sleep on me, because y'all gonna be sleeping for a very long time, man. Knockout season, fireworks.
The Berlanga fight comes after a strange situation in which the IBF mandated a bout with their mandatory challenger, William Skull, as the sanctioning body had priority in the rotation of mandatories. At various points, it appeared Alvarez would choose to vacate the International Boxing Federation title, costing him his status as undisputed champion at 168 pounds, or that he would simply go ahead with the Skull fight, which would be a fight among the lowest interest of Alvarez's extended time at the championship level.
You know how we coming? Big New York. Puerto Rico en la casa, oíste, pa' que los...
Instead, the situation was resolved by simply paying Skull money to step aside and potentially get his shot down the road. Berlanga was shot up the rankings and named the World Boxing Association mandatory challenger after longtime mandatory David Morrell moved up to light heavyweight. Morrell, along with former World Boxing Council mandatory David Benavidez, who also moved up to 175, never got their crack at Alvarez despite years as mandatory challengers, with the sanctioning bodies deferring to Alvarez's whims. The International Boxing Federation had been more hardline with champions handling their obligations to their title, previously stripping Alvarez of the middleweight championship in 2019 after he failed to come to terms for a fight with Sergey Derevyanchenko. This time, Alvarez got his way when it came to avoiding the International Boxing Federation defense he wasn't interested in. Ney now faces Berlanga, who made his name with an incredible 16 consecutive first-round knockouts to start his professional career. Since that run, Berlanga has only scored 1 stoppage over his 6 most recent wins and has looked far more human than the wrecking ball who burst onto the boxing scene with that record-breaking first-round knockout streak.
Okay.
Also of note, the Sept 14 date puts Alvarez versus Berlanga in direct conflict with UFC 306, which has seen the UFC going all out for the first combat sports event to be held in Las Vegas' Sphere. And that's all for now. What's your take? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more updates. See you in the next one.